Hello guys, Dejamu here, and welcome to another video on Horus, Heresy Legions. Today is requested by Inquisitor Darth 2 weeks ago. I will be playing with Conrad Curze. Sorry for the delay, I had to switch computers and download everything again. It took a while, but now I'm back, so here's the deck. First is Conrad Curze, of course, with his famous Madness, or Batman mode ability, and his energy ability is give -1 to an enemy this turn, and he can act again. His energy ability isn't too good. It works well with, sometimes it works well with the Rule of Fear or some parts like that. But his main thing is his Madness and his high initiative. So I have 2 Tigris Exitus because stealth is very useful with a lot of these troops. Lectitio Divinitatis because I noticed that I keep on running out of cards when I'm playing with Conrad. Recon Claw. It's a lot of the troops perform very well with flank. Abandoned Supplies, once again for the card draw and for cost reduction, very useful for Apotheosis, Raven. Mercy and Forgiveness, you have to have Mercy and Forgiveness in a Conrad Curze deck, otherwise it's not a Conrad Curze deck. 1 Rule of Fear, I've been switching around with maybe 1 Asteroid Belt and 2 Rule of Fear, but I think 2 Asteroid Belt and 1 Rule of Fear works well. Because Rule of Fear is a very specific card, you're not going to always be using it, like an Angron deck. Rule of Fear is pretty much useless. Then we have 2 Talent for Murder. It's heavy removal, and it works well with Night Haunter, because you can give something 1 health, and then gain stealth from it with Night Haunter. Androshek, Night Lord Legendary, and really, to make any successful Night Lords deck, you need all the Legendaries. 2 Defense Satellites. As you know, I always like to keep 2 of them in my deck. Joker Company, my anti-stealth. I've been switching around. Sometimes I take two Informer Network, and sometimes I take 2 Joker Company. But as you can see, my 3 curve and my 5 curve are pretty similar, so if I move the 2 Joker Company, I'll be at 5/5 and 6/3s. But I think Joker Company is better in this deck because you have Recon Claw, so you can give Joker Company a flank, deal 4 damage to an enemy troop that doesn't have stealth, and then deal 3 damage to a troop that does have stealth. So I think Joker Company works really well with Recon Claw. Vibra's Talon. Even though I have Recon Claw, I'd still like to have a standard flank just somewhere in there. Reaper of Kaldrak, another Night Lord staple, but he also works very well with Recon Claw because you can give something can't attack and then kill it with terror. Then Helios Motor Carrier. I like this card, and surprisingly, it works very, very well in this deck. I just had 2 extra spots. I didn't really want to put in Mount Pharos or another. I could have put in Mount Pharos and another Rule of Fear, but I think the Helios Mortar Carriers are doing it right now. Curze's Chosen. That's one of the first cards that works well with Tigris Exitus. Oh right, Androshek also works well with Tigris Exitus, because the Androshek you can stack your attack, then attack the warlord once, and then gain stealth again, and continue stacking your attack. That's why I like Androshek with Tigris Exitus. Curze's Chosen with Tigris Exitus is also very well. It works very well. You can play Recon Claw, then Curze's Chosen, give it flank, kill a troop, then give it stealth, so that all the troops that come into play now have -2 attack. Spectre of Judgment. I just have 1 of them in here because I don't really want to be destroying troops with Night Lord, with Night Haunter. I just want to be bringing them down to 1 health. But just in case there is a really powerful troop played that I can't deal with, I have Spectre of Judgment. Baccaran, another troop that works well with Recon Claw. I don't really want 2 of them in here because it's a pretty expensive card, but it's always nice to have a front line in there somewhere, in case you're at low health and you're facing Angron. Of course, the Raven, a very amazing card. And also, once again, works well with Tigris Exitus. You can just attack the warlord with it, and give it stealth. And Apotheosis. I would put 2 in here if I could. I'd probably remove Vakuran. Yeah. But sadly, I only have 1 copy of Apotheosis. So, let's look at some of the games that I had against... I'll save the defeat for the end. Let's start with Canis Vertex. So I I rarely play against Canis Vertex, so I had no idea how this game would go. But I liked my opening hand, so I stuck with it.
Welcome the darkness.
I realized that flank would be very useful this game, because any troop that I played, now if I had this flank on me, I could just ram it into any of these defenses. So my strategy here was to just attack the enemy warlord with my warlord, and then deal with all of these side weapons with my troops. I play Recon Claw instead of Asteroid Belt because I want to play Helios Mortar next turn, so I don't really need Asteroid Belt. What I noticed about this Canis Vertex player compared to the other Canis Vertex players that I played is that he used the Power Claw's psychic power a lot more than normal people would. I didn't really care where that mortar would land. On the Warlord would just done more damage to the Warlord. On the weapons would have just brought me closer to defeating the weapons. See, once again, he uses the psychic power of the Power Claw. Now I play Mercy and Forgiveness, so that I can deal 4 damage to one of the side weapons. At this point, I've decided that I'm going to go for the left laser blaster. He does try to take him out, but in the end I'll just sacrifice him anyway into killing the Skitarii Protector. And then I can deal more damage to the left laser blaster. Now he makes a mistake this turn. I can kill this laser blaster next turn. He probably should have given this laser blaster shield, but instead he just uses psychic power. I draw a Rule of Fear, so I just quickly take care of that mortar carrier. Then I gain extra energy and prepare the laser blaster for death, so that even if he does give him shield next turn, he's dead. Now that I think about it, it wouldn't have made much of a difference. I was going to say that I should have done one attack to him and one attack to him, so that if he does give him shield, I can still kill him with the 2 attacks of my Warlord, but either way, the outcome would have been the same. But as you can see, all his Titan weapons are on very, very low health, which means that they're just going to start dropping. Boom, now I can kill that side weapon now with my 2 attacks from Conrad, with taking 0 damage in return because of his ability. Speaking with friend.
Okay, what's your plan for the rest of the day?
We could play a game later?
Yeah, I have to work something, so it has to be a lot later, yeah.
Okay.
You have sports with Papa anyway.
Yeah, but 3.
Okay, after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close the door, please. Close door, not hang door. Now with half of his Titan weapons dead, I felt good. And I even did bonus damage to Warlord. So even though the health difference was really big before it, his Warlord just took the damage of 2 Titan weapons exploding. Now I was pretty low on health, but I wasn't on lethal yet. So I decided to continue just dealing damage with my stun things. That Healer's Mortar Carrier hit the Power Claw, the Flaming Claw. At this moment in time, I didn't really mind. I didn't really care. I was like, oh, okay. Flaming Claw doesn't matter. But that hitting the Flaming Claw actually wins me the game. So I first deal some damage to the Laser Blasters, and then I turn into Night Hunter. Now my goal, when I saw the Slayer of Worlds, was to just keep the Slayer of Worlds in play. Just let him suffer from the maintenance as long as he can. And I could do that over multiple turns, because I now have stealth. He finally gives something shield. I now have stealth. And next turn I can play Apotheosis to take the Laser Blaster. Gain stealth again. Then anytime I want, I can just use a Talent for Murder on the Slayer of Worlds for me to gain stealth, for him to gain can't attack, and then suffer from the maintenance again. He cannot give the Power Claw shield, so I just play the Curze's Chosen with stealth, and then take down the Power Claw. Gain stealth again, so he suffers from the maintenance once more. And takes damage from the claw exploding. And at this point I've won. And he gives up, I believe. Yes. So that was a very fun game against Canis Vertex. Now the next game is against Ulrach Renton. I did not really like my starting hand. Tigris Exceedus really only works well with like the higher cost troops, and Reaper of Kaldrak is pretty expensive, so I replaced them both.
Welcome the darkness. We have a mission.
I open up with abandoned supplies, and I get the Raven. Reduced Raven is always really good. An older version of this deck, I actually had 2 War Rooms. It's the one that draws a tactic from your deck, reduces it by 2, instead of 2 abandoned supplies, but it didn't really work well. I definitely prefer the abandoned supplies. So now I play the Recon Claw. What I find myself been doing lately a lot is actually playing the Recon Claws, and they never get used, because I just never manage to use them. There are a few games where they get used, but most of the time they're not used at all. I have tried to run a deck where I just had 1 Recon Claw, but I just wasn't drawing it enough, and then the times that I needed it, it just wouldn't come. That is why I called this deck Conrad Kurtz Ultimate, because I put so much work into making this the best deck that I could. I did hope for 4 damage on the Moria Tyras, but it doesn't matter too much because I have another Defense Satellite that I can play next turn. Or I can play the Joker Company. But he plays another troop, so Defense Satellite is a better option. It is riskier, but I feel I've been getting pretty lucky most of the time. Maybe Joker Company was the smarter option, but at the time I was pretty confident in my Defense Satellite. I did not want to waste the Raven on that troop, but I wanted to kill this turn. I don't remember if I used yeah, because with these 2 cards in my hand, the 2 Reapers of Kaldrak, I still want to keep my flank. I thought this was pretty good, because now I can play the Reaper of Caldrach, give him can't attack, then reduce his attack by 2 with Conrad Curze, then I can give him flank, and I can kill him without any repercussions on my Reaper. Then he plays Ornithos Barge, which I think is, knowing that I have Endros Shek somewhere in my deck, I think that was a big mistake. And knowing that I have Conrad Curze, because... And I even pulled that, so now I can play Mercy and Forgiveness, and Endros Shek. And now I can just remove every single one of those frontline troops, while buffing Endros Shek. I can also give Endros Shek flank, so he can remove a troop of his own. And now Endros Shek is a 12 attack. Now, right now I have lethal, but he takes out Endros Shek. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to reveal him, maybe I should have just used his attack instead. And he plays his legendary card, which deals 2 extra damage. But I think this is a good turn for some Helios Mortar Carrier, and some 4 damage for 4 energy. What I think would be a great play for most people who play Ulrach Brenthen is to, when they're at like 1 health, just to face bash a troop so that they can turn into their Dreadnought form. But for some reason, most Ulrach Brenthens that I play against, they just don't do that. Now, I had lethal for like 4 turns in a row these past few games, but because that troop kept placing in, like I had lethal this turn, but he placed that troop, the secret hideout. So I take out the secret hideout with Spectre of Judgment. Then I draw some cards and play Abandoned Supplies. Now looking at the cards, I was slightly a decent amount ahead of him, so I didn't play that Lecticio, that 0 cost Lecticio. But now, I thought to myself, if he doesn't heal, doesn't play any front line, I win. Because I could. But of course, he heals 1, which ruins my strategy. I do play the Reaper of Caldrach. Then I can remove that bunker, the barricade, with the Reaper, and destroy that obnoxious 1/2 that keeps doing 2 damage to my troops. Now once again, I do not have lethal if he does not kill this troop, which I doubt that he will not do it. But he also takes care of my other troops as well. So see, I could have won so many turns ago if that troop had not been constantly placing barricades. I get Joker Company, but I get something better. I get Apotheosis. So technically I win because I had that abandoned supplies. Because if I hadn't used that abandoned supplies, I would not have gotten the 0 cost Lecticio, and I would not have gotten that abandoned supplies when I did. Once again, I thought to myself, if he doesn't do anything, I win. But I win because of Tigris Exodus.
There is no escape.
I remove the barricade. Then I play Tigris Exodus. And that 1 extra damage was all it took. But he got pretty lucky with his Grand Nev into Apothecary Coleman. Yep, goodbye Brendan. The next game is against Sanguinius. Now, I've been having a lot of trouble dealing with Sanguinius in the past. And I think this game just worked out very well for me. I replaced Talent for Murder and got Apotheosis.
Towards the ends we both know, nothing has changed. Nothing ever could.
I really absolutely love these custom, like, voice lines that some primarchs have. Now, I made a mistake this turn. I should have played Rule of Fear because I completely forgot about this energy ability that he can remove stealth from him. But instead, I decided to save Rule of Fear. I make a lot of mistakes this game. It's a miracle that I still win. Now that nothing has stealth, I decide to, save the Rule of Fear. But I am off to a good start. I am 5 health ahead of him. Doesn't matter that you revealed my Rule of Fear because I will play it next turn. Now that I think about it, I should have saved the Rule of Fear for a Clonata squad onslaught because it could have wiped the board. But we all make mistakes. I had a good hand. I could have chosen to cancel that troop out with removing the drop pod and then using the Vibrous Talon, but instead I go with a Mortar Carrier. Because if I had used the Vibrous Talon, I would have had an empty board, he would have had an empty board, and it would have been his turn. He uses Hermia, which causes a very annoying scenario if he plays Clonata squad. I mean, multiple Clonata squads with, what's it called, Red Storm, I believe. Don't quite remember. Now I use Vibrous Talon because I don't want that drop pod getting off. Now that I think about it, that attack was completely worthless, because either way, he was going to use that troop to remove my Vibrous Talon. So I took 3 damage for nothing. And there are the Clonata squad. But, perfect timing for Endroshek, because on the 9 energy turn, I can then use Endroshek. 10 energy turn, I can use Madness, and then I can wipe the board, because the Clonata squads will all have attacked me once. So that's a lot of damage coming into me right now. I thought I had lost the game at this point because I had no real way to counter any of this. I couldn't even remove that drop pod that that troop had. So I just draw some cards, and I get Spectre Judgment. Lucky me. So I negate my damage that I take next turn by a decent amount. And for some reason, he doesn't... Oh no, he definitely does. Okay, I thought he was going to attack me with his Colnata squad. So I save myself with Madness. The next turn I can play Talent for Murder on the Vulnerable Jotunheim, and then I can play Mercy and Forgiveness as well to completely remove that from the board. Now maybe a better option would have been to just use Talent for Murder, and then play Joker Company in hope of removing Necrotrez. But I didn't want him to receive another Blood Angel Astartes, so I did this instead. He draws a card, and he draws another Host of Angels. But now this is where things get interesting, because now I can play Androshek. Because Androshek will slowly get better. Never mind. What I just thought of now was I could have played Androshek, used the Libra's Talent to remove one of the drop pods, and then use his ability to kill one of them. But this also made a lot of sense, because he can't attack me either way, because I have stealth. It was a slightly riskier option, but it paid off because he didn't have any anti-stealth on him. Now that was a big play on his part, because stunning my Warlord is pretty bad. I mean, I would not like my Warlord to be stunned, because he's in stealth mode. I play Androshek and the Joker Company. I didn't really mind what it hit. I wanted it to hit Elijah. But sadly, it doesn't hit Elijah. It hits the infantry troop, which not too bad, but I really would have preferred if it had hit Elijah. But because I'm stealth, the stun doesn't do too much. It just makes it unable for me to pretty much act with my Warlord. But now that he is, his Reckoning is active, me gaining stealth doesn't mean anything anyway. I play Defense Allies because I don't want Elijah to just constantly deal damage to me. But here's the combo I was talking about. Now I can attack him with Androshek and give Androshek stealth. And I think he quits now, because I don't believe he has any way to deal with Androshek. The moral of this game is bring anti-stealth. I also put Recon Claw in between Androshek and Night Hunter, because there is a Blood Angels tactic that is stun the enemy Warlord and deal 2 damage to adjacent units. And I didn't want him to play that. So, that was my game. I win against Sanguinius. Next is the game against Horus. They're all primarchs. And these were actually the games that brought me up to Terra. As you can see now, I'm on Terra. I replaced Apotheosis.
Enough.
And I got Vakuran, which wasn't really a good replacement. But it's alright, because turn 3 I can play Mercy and Forgiveness. Turn 4, on the end of 3 energy turn I can play Mercy and Forgiveness. 4 energy turn I can use my double Warlord attack to deal 4 damage. And on the 5 energy turn I can play Viber's Talent to remove a troop if I have to. If I don't have to, I can just use my Warlord ability twice. And 6 energy turn I can play the Helios Mortar Carrier. So I have my next few turns planned out. He uses Mortar Strike to deal some more damage, so we're on even footing. But I draw Asteroid Belt, so instead of attacking twice and using Letizio, I use Asteroid Belt. Because I want to become Night Haunter. I want to gain stealth before he can use his Vengeful Spirit on me. He was already in Terra, even though I was only Mars, he was already in low Terra. So I was slightly worse than him, you could say. I decide on playing the Libris Tal instead of playing Helios Mortar Carrier and then killing that like that. Because I was getting pretty low on health. I did not want to be on low enough health to be able to get Vengeful Spirited. And he actually does my job for him, for me. He takes the 5 damage. Now I play the Helios Mortar Carrier, and I just attack him once. I don't attack him twice because I want to save my health. He uses Outflank on that. He probably had no other way to deal with it. Bit of a shame on his part, because now I can just play back around. Or that. Well, I guess that makes sense as well, because Vengeful Spirit was coming up, and he could have attacked me and then used Vengeful Spirit, and then I would have been dead. So now I'm in danger of being Vengeful Spirited. So definitely time to play Madness. And I clear the board. I did a mistake there. I should have attacked Horus first and then removed that troop. And I have no clue why I didn't remove that troop. I probably did it so I could use it as stealth bait for Night Haunter. But he was going to attack him anyway. So now I have 2 choices. Either use Spectre of Judgment to completely remove it, or use Talent for Murder. And then he copies the Talent for Murder. Then I play Joker Company because I have energy for it. Give it stealth. I do that. And then I give the Joker Company stealth, so that next turn, if he doesn't have any anti-stealth, I win, because I can just attack everything. And he gives up.
Enough.
Yes, enough. And one more victory against Vulcan. So I did not like Vakaran in my opening hand, so I replaced.
I want to know I can spare you. I am damned, Vulcan. End it now.
Yeah, that's another very nice custom voice text. Now I had no way to negate this troop dealing the 3 extra damage to my Warlord, so I just try to stop it happening from twice. Or I know I stop it by sacrificing my Recon Claw. Now in this game, Vulcan does make a few mistakes. So I'm not gonna say that I won this because my deck's better. He could have definitely played a few things better, especially in the late game. The 0-cost Tier Succeeders is always very useful, because I can pretty much play a troop and then give it +1 stealth for free. So he just keeps on pumping out his damage. And he also draws some cards, which also draws me a card. So now I almost have every single legendary in my hand, which is amazing, because Night Lords really need their legendaries. Now that I think about it, because of Vulcan's ability, I maybe should have played Endroshek, but instead I want more energy because of Vulcan's ability as well. I want to get Madness so I can constantly gain stealth. Luckily I draw Viper's Talon, because otherwise I would have had no way to deal with the Gargos. I don't remember anymore if I gave it stealth or not. No, I didn't. Okay. I wanted him to remove it, so that next turn I could play Endroshek. And gain +1. Endroshek for Mercy and Forgiveness, and then, yeah. Even though I am 15 points of health behind him with his Survivor, I didn't feel too bad about this match. Nah, I'm 20 points of health behind him. I play Curze Chosen, and wipe the board at the cost of 3 additional health on my Warlord. And then once again, the combo that I talk about, I just give him I actually give the Curze Chosen the stealth, because not only I didn't expect him to play that, but because now all the troops that he puts in play are going to be completely useless. I play Baccarat, and I don't really need the stealth anymore because I have a front line. Now I was getting slightly worried about my health, especially after he played that defense satellite. But he, it was a pretty unlucky defense satellite right there. But he does get rid of the Curze Chosen. But now I really definitely need Madness. But that's a mistake right there, playing the Sorcerer Hunters. Because now I can just attack with Terror, I can attack with the Baccarat, and I can attack the Warlord and gain stealth. So that was a mistake on his part. And he gets rid of my with Sorrow because of Survivor 1. Now he made a mistake here as well. He should have attacked me again with that same Vorax, but instead he attacks me with the other Vorax. Why? Now I just get a free attack on the Warlord. And I give him Can't Attack. And I just play Advanced Supplies because I have the energy for it. And I pull a Viper's Talon at 3+1. Not bad. Now I was slowly regaining board control, and he now plays the other Port Spain. So now he has no more really heavy removal anymore. But I don't really have any more heavy troops to play. From this point on, it's pretty much just my Warlord plus the Raven whenever he pops up. So I decided to play Apotheosis because there was nothing better I could have done. And I gained stealth. So that was another mistake he did with... I mean, maybe he was trying to negate the 4 damage on his Warlord. But if he had maybe like a fast troop next turn, yeah, he probably should not have played that. And I think he did this in the wrong order, unless he didn't want me to gain stealth. But, of course, I have this 3-cost Viper's Talon, so that I can attack the Warlord and gain stealth. So now I'm slowly bringing the health back down to where it was. I also give Vulcan Can't Attack, so that he cannot remove my Viper's Talon. But he removes it anyway with Defense Satellites. He does get 4 damage on my Warlord though, so wasn't very happy about that. I have the energy for it, so I just play the Joker Company and Defense Satellites because why not? I get 2 damage, doesn't matter too much. Now I'm finally ahead of him in health, and I have lethal. But he clears my board. But at this point, I see that I win, because all I need to do is attack him twice now. Then he'll be at 3 health with Survivor 3. So that, unless he plays a card that heals him, he's dead. Because even if he plays Frontline, I have Spectre Judgment to clear it away. See, look, now he has 2 health with Survivor 3.
I am reborn.
So I can just kill him now. And I think he's hoping for a healing card. But no. Unlucky for him. He does not get a healing card. And he gives up as well. So, that's my victory against Vulcan. Now, we come to the losses. This was a legit loss against Magnus. This one I just did so bad. I did a mistake at the beginning of the game that just caused me to fail. So I think I'll just watch the Magnus game. The Corvex game, I probably could have won it, but I just messed up at the beginning. So I placed Defense Satellites because I know Magnus is probably not going to be having any troops.
The law is the law.
Another very nice custom voice line. I love it. I did get unlucky here though. Double ban and supplies. And into Lacticio. So, not the best hand.
I will admit to some trepidation.
And I think you realized that I got pretty unlucky with my abandoned supplies draw. But he didn't get unlucky with it. Yeah. I had nothing to do this turn except remove that troop without taking that extra damage. I was trying to not deal as much, I was trying to deal as little, like, small amounts of damage as possible to Magnus himself, because I didn't want him to activate his Reckoning. But 2 damage for free is hard to resist, especially when I couldn't play anything else. And he plays that, which I really was not ready for. The best I could do was play Defense Satellites, and then I'd have to wait for Spectre of Judgment. So I was just really, really unlucky with my cards. If I had had another, maybe, if I had had the Rule of Fear, I could have given him -1, and then killed him with Rule of Fear, but I didn't. And yeah, this game just wasn't doing it. So I played Helios Mortar Carrier. I wanted it to hit the Rhino, but no. It hits it hits 10 to dust, which I really did not like. I really had wished that he had played the Quad Speeder on the other side. But now I had to use the Spectre Judgment on 10 to dust because I did not want him healing constantly. And I had to deal with that with my Warlord. It was hopeless. My only hope that I did have was Madness, Apotheosis, Mercy and Forgiveness. That's all I could really hope for. He continues to deal damage to me with his Warlord and with his 5/5 Quad Speeder. And he uses Witchfire to deal more damage to me. And another Witchfire. I had no way of... I couldn't even play anything. I could play Asteroid though, yeah. I gave up there. So, not quite beating up Primarchs. Almost. 2 losses, but I am on Terra again. Thanks to my ultimate Conrad Curze deck. So, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Yeah,